All right, we're going to do the last section of this chapter, which means tomorrow will be the chapter review. And so we're going to go over the law of cosines and the law of sines. Of course, not in that order. We're doing it in this order. Okay, so there's 3 bits of information we're going to need from this chapter. The first bit is we're going to have 3 formulas, sort of 3 formulas, for area of a triangle. So I'm going to write down all of our rules right here. And if you want to follow along, we're on page 458. Okay, we are going to use a triangle that looks like this for all of our problems. We're going to use the same letters. We're not going to try to confuse you at all. Okay, and I'll explain how this works. Little a is opposite of big A. Little b is opposite of big B. And little c is opposite of c. Okay, and so we're going to use that triangle for all of these things. What we are doing right now is we're leaving right triangles. We're no longer going to have right triangles. We're just going to have regular triangles. This is a taste of what trigonometry is for and a taste of what you can do with it once you expand and get out of our little bitty stuff that we've been doing. Okay, the whole point of math is to simplify life so things can be done. So basically what this is going to be able to do is, in the real world anyways, it's going to allow somebody to be on point A and just sit there in a chair, and then they're going to have somebody with a stick that goes to point C and point B, and they can just measure with some devices from point A, and they can come up with anything they need to from this triangle. Okay? The person sitting in the chair, point A, gets paid a lot of money. Person with the stick that goes from C to B doesn't get paid as much, but still gets paid nice. And I'm sure you've seen those people at the side of the road, right? Some guy has a tripod and he's looking through a machine, and then some guy's just holding a stick. You seen that before? They do that every time before they start construction. Okay? Satellites. Your cell phone works this kind of way, where they have some Anyways, triangulation. So this is just a taste of the real stuff and what this can do. And then we're going to stop and then take the test. And that test, of course, is not today. It's in 2 days. All right, so here's area formulas. And there's 3 of them. And they're all basically the same, and so you can probably see the pattern. But these area formulas are using trig instead of the traditional way. And so remember, capital letters are angles, lowercase letters are sides. Okay, let me scoot this down, and then I got a little problem, and we're going to see if we can figure out the area. Remember, this is little c, this is little little a. That's not how you do a little a. There we go. And this is little b. I don't have little b, but if I did, I did. So how are we going to use this formula? Well, first of all, we need to figure out what information we have. Do we have enough information? Okay. This means I need angle B, right? I got an angle B. To go with angle B, I need a line A and a line C. Is that this? So basically, all I need is the angle and the sides of that angle, yes? Do I need the height of this triangle? So I don't have to measure the height anymore, right? And oftentimes that's the hardest thing to do in real life is measure the height, because that's a new measurement. This is established. You can walk this. Okay, and so I just put it in the formula. As simple as that. So the area of this one is just going to be 1/2 A C sine 135, and I bet you it's outside the screen. Is that all calculated at this point? That's how formulas work a lot of times, right? I don't usually put a half in. I usually do 0.5 because it's faster. Is that the same thing? Okay. Uh-oh. And then I hit enter. And I'm going to get 114.2 units squared. Okay, that's it. How do you know which formula to use? It's based on what angle you get. So if they gave me angle A, they would give me side B and side C. But it's always going to have, the only way this works is if you have an angle and the two sides of that angle. Okay? Questions? It's just a formula, right? That one's not too bad. So let's move on to the law of sines, which the formula is not too bad, but it's a lot of work. There's a reason people get paid to do this in real life. It becomes a lot of work. Even with a computer, just setting it up is a lot of work. So here's the law of sines. And it technically is a theorem as well, but we're kind of doing things a little differently this chapter. So it's theorem 9.9. And so I'm going to write it two different ways. And these are ratios again. We use a lot of ratios in these two chapters, the similarity chapter and in the trigonometry chapter. Ratios are very, very important in these two subjects. Okay, or I could do it upside down. It's fine. And basically what I do is wherever my variable is, wherever the thing is I want to find, not I don't want to find, I put on top, and I'll show you how that works. Okay. So I'm just going to start out with a problem. And again, I'm going to try not to trick you. We're just going to use this A, B, C again so we can use these formulas. This is going to be 51 degrees, and this is going to be 18 degrees, and what is going to be 17 degrees? This is going to be 17. Not degrees, but just stuff. So I have it written here. Maybe we can pull out a little bit. Okay, so this is how this is going to work. I first need to establish a ratio. Okay, and the directions, I didn't tell you the directions. The directions are going to basically, we're going to complete the triangle. We're going to solve the triangle. It's not a right triangle, it's a triangle. We're going to solve all of the angles. Okay, and we're going to use this law of sines to start out. And then it's going to get easier and easier. So to use the law of sines, I need to start out with a ratio. And this is the ratio I'm going to start out with. Sine A over, which number do you think goes with sine A? It's supposed to be 18, but it doesn't look good, so I'm going to kill it. There we go, 18. And then I'm going to need to find another ratio, but just part of one. So I've already used this number and this number. What do we think goes with this number? So I'm going to use sine C, because I don't know what C is, over 17. Do we see how I've now produced a proportion where I have one variable? We don't want two variables, right? We want one. So we can cross multiply, but again, I don't like at this point of the year to actually cross multiply. Okay, but remember this works kind of like a slide or stairs, where I can move anything I want to along this path. So I want sine C by itself, so I'm going to move this 17 on this path and put it up here. Okay? And so sine C is going to equal 17 sine 51 over 18. Okay. Here's where it can get confusing or not confusing. You can do one more step in this and put it all in the calculator, or turn it to two steps. Because do I really want to know what sine C equals, or do I want to know what C equals? I want to know what C equals. And so technically you can do this. C equals inverse sine, yes. That's how you get rid of that sign, is inverse sine. And you put this whole bit of garbage right here. And you can put the whole thing in your calculator, and I'll show you how. Because the whole purpose of this is to have a nice little formula that you can put in your calculator. Because the algebra work's not that hard, is it? But it is complex. All right. 17 sine, what is that, 51? $18. And I'm going to make sure I do that. Let's see, does that look good? Does everybody see how I did it? Let's see if it works. 47.2. C equals 47.2. 47.2, not, whatever I did, degrees. All right, we just came up with angle C. If I wanted to, I could write angle C up here, just because that'd be awesome. I really don't want to do that much work to get B. How could I get B?
180 minus 90 minus 47.2.
I could do 180 minus 90, not by 90, because this isn't a right triangle. So 180 minus 51 minus 47.2. So I'm going to get 81.8. So that's B, is 81.8. There's not really work to show on that. That's just not trigonometry, that's arithmetic, right? Okay, and that's actually an old theorem of ours, right? It's the triangle sum theorem, where they all add up to 180. Okay, so I almost have this solved. What am I missing? I'm missing little b, right? Well, how could I come up with little b? Could I use the law of sines again? I could. Do I have to? Could I use the Pythagorean theorem? I can't, because it's not a right triangle. Can't use the Pythagorean theorem. I actually do have to use the law of sines, because that's what allows me to do trig with a non-right triangle. So how am I going to set that up? Well, I want to find b is. So b equals, the angle for b is what? Okay, so the sine of 81.8. And then I need a ratio that goes with this. You don't see what I'm doing. I need a ratio that goes with this. Here, I'm going to get a new piece of paper, because I'm going to get all squanched up, and I'm really trying to look at my shape at the same time. I like that better. So we're going to do this so we can do that. So I want to find B, and it is over sine 81.8. And I need a ratio that goes with that. Well, I can use anything I want to. I'm going to start with my first thing. My first thing was A sine 51. Okay. Why did I do this one upside down? Do you have to do it upside down? No. I do it upside down because I like to put whatever I'm looking for on top. Just because in my brain, it is easier to manipulate when whatever I'm looking for is on top. Okay. Because again, we can use this cross multiplication like a path. So I can just take this sine 81 and move it right up here and put it here. And that's why I like my variable on top. And this should be easy to put in the calculator, right? Okay, I think I put it in right. And I'm going to hit enter. And I get 22.9. So B is going to be 22.9. Whatever the unit is. Okay? And that's it. It's a lot of work. It's basically 3 problems in one, right? And so just like yesterday's homework, we're not going to have just a bunch of problems because they take a long time. All right. I'm going to click this off and then restart because the video is too long.